Hey YouTube, Jasmine Love here. Welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. We are in 2020. So I just thought I'd bring Frankie on camera to say Happy New Year. He's a little sleepy. Oh, he likes to give me hugs. Oh, he's so sweet. I am coming today with the brow tutorial. So I thought, what better way to start the new year than do the brow tutorial. And as promised, I am going to do 3 types of brows. I'm going to do a brow using the pencil. This is my favorite type of brow, is using the pencil. I am going to do a brow using powder, and I am going to do a brow using dip. He's so sleepy. Look at that face. Look at that face. He looks scared. Oh. Well, let me put him down and we'll get started. So I have the hair pulled back and I'm going to try to give you guys some energy. It's a little later than I normally film. So I don't have as much energy as I usually do, but I'm going to try to give it to you. You know, I'm going to try to come with it. So the first type of brow we're going to get into is probably my least favorite brow. And it's funny because this used to be my favorite brow. But, you know, as we go along, as the years pass, things change, new products, different types of products. And so I don't really gravitate to doing this type of brow. But the brow that I'm talking about is the pomade brow. When I gravitate towards a pomade, I am typically going for the more bold brow. So that's what we're going to do right now, is the bold brow. The pomade that I'm using is the Dip Brow Pomade in dark brown. So you will need a spoolie, and I have that. This spoolie, it's actually a double end, so I'm going to use the brush side and I'm going to actually use the spoolie side. This is by Anastasia Beverly Hills as well. I love it because the brush is super thin and that's really what you want. So I'm going to use the spoolie and brush my brow hairs in place. My brows are not freshly waxed. I didn't do any plucking either, so I am about to just show you how I fill them in and how I conceal as well. That way we're covering up some of those extra hairs. So I'm pretty much just brushing through, shaping them. So I take a good amount on my brush and I start with the tail of my brow to kind of line the shape that I want. So I go to the base of the tail and just draw a line. And I'm going to make a line at the front of the brow. So you can kind of see I have the base of the brow etched out. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to start filling that brow in. So all of these sparse areas that you see here, I'm going to start filling that in, like from here all the way back. I'm going to fill that in. And I'm putting pressure. When I'm filling in the brow, I am putting more pressure on the brush. So I'm going back into the product and I'm going to go ahead and line the top of my brow. And I'm staying as close to my brow shape as possible. I'm not creating a shape. I'm just following my natural shape. Putting pressure on the brush. And now with this tail, I am putting a little more of a shape on my tail. Like that. So now we're going to work that front of the brow. This is where it gets a little tricky because a lot of us nowadays, we like that faded look in the front of the brow. Either you like the faded look or you like the brow hair strokes. So since we're going with the bold brow, I'm going to do a faded look. So you're not going to put as much pressure in the front of the brow as you did on the rest of the brow. So this is how I'm holding my brush for the front of the brow. I'm actually doing flicking motions. You can kind of see, let me see if I can zoom you in here. You can see those flicking motions in the front. Like you see how they come up past where our line is. That's fine because we're going to clean that up with concealer. But you want those flicking motions because that's what's giving you the faded look. In addition to that, you are going to take the spoolie and brush up. And that's going to create a blend. Okay. So the bold brow is popping. I am going to do the other brow just like this one off camera, and then we're going to come back and clean it up. Both brows are now filled in. Now I'm going to go in and clean them up. I'm going to use my concealer, which is this, going this way, Chestnut, Too Faced. We're going to put a little concealer on the brush and clean it up. It's a relatively flat brush, but it has a tapered point, and that's what you want because you want that tapered point to get into that arch area. You don't have to pile on a lot of product on the brush, just a little bit on the tip of the brush. So I like to run the brush across. After it's cleaned up, I like to run the brush across like that. And And then I get a buffing brush. This brush that I like to use is from Real Techniques, and this is the domed shadow brush. I never use this as a shadow brush, never will, but it's about that thick and it's small, and I just take it and just buff out that concealer. There you have a nice, crisp, clean brow, faded in the front. Boom. These are the bold brows, the dip pomade brows. Now I'm going to take this off, come back, and we'll get into the powder brows. This is the brow powder that I like to use. It's the Foolproof Brow Powder by Benefit Cosmetics, and I am using shade 5. Shade 5 looks like this. So this is shade 5. I really like this because it has the darker tail and the lighter fronts, and that is what we want to go for. Now the powder brow is very natural. It's a very natural brow, and typically when I do it, it's a very bushy like brow. We're gonna go in with the same shape. The only difference is, like I said, this is going to be a more natural brow, a more bushy brow. So what I like to do is I take a gel base primer. In this case, I am using the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. Squirting a little bit of that on the back of my hand. And I'm taking a different spoolie. This one is from ColourPop. And I'm actually just going to work that into my spoolie. This is similar to the technique that, I don't know if you may have heard of it or not, but it's called soap brows, where they will go ahead and brush the product through their brow hairs to kind of make their brow hair stay in place and stay bushy. So as you can see, I am working that product into my brows. The front of my brows, I want to be really bushy. I want them to stand straight. So I'm working that into the brow. Now with this, obviously my brow hairs are outgrown, so I might take and trim it. So I go into the primer once more after that application dries up a little bit, and I do one more once over on the front of the brow. Make it stand tall. After that has dried down, we have the brows standing bushy. We are going to go in to that brow powder. And again, I like to work with the tail first. So we're going to actually go into the tail powder here, the darker powder. And I'm using the same brush from the last brow. I did clean the brush because that pomade is darker than this powder. With this brow, I'm not lining. I'm actually just placing hair-like strokes with the powder. So let me try to put you guys over here as I look in my mirror. And so I am following the shape of my brow, but I am not drawing a harsh line at the bottom of my brow. I'm pretty much just making hair-like strokes in the areas that need it. So in those sparse areas is where I am making those hair-like strokes. And I'm still working with the tail color right now. So you're just flicking your wrist and filling in those areas. And now from here, I am going to work into the lighter color. And with this brow, I am sparse right in this area. So I am going to fill that in very lightly. I'm not really going to do anything to the top of the brow, so I'm not going to line the top of this brow, but because I had that sparse area, I did fill that part in. Since I'm not making a crisp line underneath here, the key to this is that I'm placing the brush right where, trying to get an angle so you guys can see. So I'm placing the brush right where that line would be and flicking up. So that way by the end, it looks like I created a line, but I really didn't. Let me move this. I'm just trying to move the mirror around so I can see what I'm doing, but you guys can also see what I'm doing. So I am just taking and flicking. And towards the front of this brow, you're gonna get even more light-handed. Light strokes. And done. Now we have the bushy natural brow. I am going to do the other eye and I'm going to go ahead and conceal. I conceal the same way as the first brow that I did, so I'm not going to film that. I'm going to finish the brows, come back, show you what they look like, and then from there we'll move on to the next brow. Give you a little close-up what that looks like. And so we're going to move on to the next brow. So this last brow is probably my favorite brow. Like, okay, so I really liked the last brow that we just did, but this brow has to be my very favorite brow because it's the easiest one. So it's the one that I can just really go in, throw on. It looks, you know, very nice. I can get it as natural as I want it. I can get it as bold as I want it. And this is the pencil. So with the pencil, it's kind of similar to all of them. It's about the pressure that you use on your brow. With this pencil specifically, which is the Precisely My Brow Pencil by Benefit. It's in the name. It's a very precise brow. It gives you brow-like hair strokes. So this is why I love this method as well. It has a spoolie on it. and the pencil's on the other side, so I don't have to use that other spoolie in this case. And I am not priming any brows because this isn't really a bushy brow. It's just a nice, simple, quick brow. I'm gonna roll that pencil up, and I'm going to take it. You want your pencil to kind of be loose in your hand, because if you have it like a firm grip, you're gonna make darker hair strokes. Now, if you have a lighter grip and you just like lightly make the hair strokes, it just works better that way. I don't know if I'm making sense, but just do it. Just do it, and you'll notice what I'm talking about. So yet again, we're gonna start at the arch and work our way back towards the tail, and then we're going to go ahead and work on the front of the brow. And just notice that I'm focusing in on the sparse areas. Like, I'm not just coloring in my brow. I'm literally going into each area that I see that's very sparse, and I'm making a hair stroke. And then I am going to line the top of my brow on this one. Now we're going to start lining the front of the brow. And then we're going to start filling that in. Just like all the other brows, you're going to get light-handed when you get towards the front of the brow. So I am just literally putting strokes in those sparse areas. The flick of the wrist. Look at the flick of the wrist. That's what I'm doing literally in this tutorial. This area here is looking a little sparse, so I'm gonna fill that in. We're just going to take the spoolie again, kind of blend that product out towards the front. And now you have a nice clean brow. So I'm gonna do the other side, clean it up, come back, let you see what it looks like. Pencil brows, done, filled in. These are my favorite type of brows. They're very crisp, they're very precise, and they look so good. That completes the video. I've given you 3 different options these are the 3 products that I've used over the past years. So that is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade, that is the Benefit Cosmetics Foolproof Brow Powder, and the Benefit Cosmetics Precisely My Brow Pencil. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment down below, tell me what your favorite brow was, and let me know if it was pretty easy to follow along. And also comment down below and let me know what videos you want to see, because I am trying to pump out as much content as I can in 2020. I hope you guys have a wonderful 2020. The start to my 2020 has been very chill. So I am just looking forward to pumping out a lot more content for you guys. I really hope you like this one, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.